Hi everyone, it's Mr. ZooX here. Due to popular demand for a rant, or another video I should say, I've got more messages than I expected again, and have read a few of them. But anyway, basically I got a comment today that kind of irritated me. I didn't see it in my books or anything like that. I just kind of like clicked on one of my videos and seen it. Because YouTube never likes to give me word that I've got a comment or a message half the time as it is. So, that being said, this faggot named Muffet Lalula, I fucking can't pronounce the name. I don't fucking know what it says. Okay, anyway, here's a picture for you here so you understand what the whole thing is about. You can read my replies to him, and you can see what he said to me. So it's just one simple message, but there was another one on there too. I'm not going to really talk about that one because it wasn't as black and white stupid as this one was. So, this is what the comment said for those who don't like to read. Some people have that much of a lack of life that they jump on YouTube to hang shit on the most magnificent game console ever invented. Now, okay, and this is of course talking about the Atari 2600, I should say, the Atari 2600. This is what the whole thing's about, basically. Just cause a company created an emulator of it. Atari and NES are the only true video game system, you dumb-ass pommy fag. Yeah, and I'm the dumbass for saying yeah with a Y-A. I mean, come on now, that's just fucking ridiculous. But the only thing right there, we're going to stop right there and just talk about that little part there. What are you talking about? 1 minute you're talking about Atari 2600, the next minute you're talking about it created an emulator of it. Atari and NES are the only true video game systems. What are you talking about? I don't understand that one bit. My guess is, and this is just my guess, that because the Atari 2600 controller that I was showing in the video was a plug-and-play, that he's talking about the emulator and that. But doesn't mean a goddamn thing. The games run nearly the same as they did on the actual system. I played the games on the system too. I played a lot of Atari games in my day. Even though I wasn't born then, even though I'm a younger gamer, I played quite a few of them. I still have quite a bit of them too. Tried to get rid of them for the longest time. In the arcade cabinet I have downstairs, I have Robotron 26, whatever the fucking game is. Robotron or something like that. I always like to play that one. There's quite a few other games that I played too. But I really wasn't an Atari fan at all. I tried to get an emulator for the computer at one time, and I couldn't get a good one, so I decided to give up on it altogether. But the Atari wasn't a horrible system. I mean, it wasn't the best system in the world, but it wasn't the worst system in the world either. The NES was the same way for me. I was probably more of a fan of the NES than the Atari, but at the same time, I really wasn't into that stuff because when I was born, I was a little too old for that stuff. So, that being said, I was too old for the games when they came out anyway. I was a little, after the time of NES and all that, so I was more around Super Nintendo age and all that stuff. So, that being said, the NES was like basically the outdated system at the time, but people still played it, and I played quite a bit of it. In my collection I have maybe, I'd say 200 or more NES games. Not that I play them anymore or anything like that, I just don't have the time. As for the Atari, I don't know, in my collection I have about 75 games that I've been trying to get rid of. So I think right now I have maybe probably 50 because I've gotten rid of 20. No one will take them off my hands, I don't know why. Anyway, the point of the matter is the systems are great, they're not amazing, they're nothing to... I mean, a lot of people like the NES, a lot of people like the Atari, but it just wasn't for me. Most likely because of when I was born, but also just because I just don't like the games. I mean, what can I say? Some of them were good, some of them just weren't. A lot of bad games on the NES and a lot of bad games on the Atari. Maybe even more so than it is now with some of the newer game systems. There are more, legitimate titles now than there were back then. So, that being said, I just don't really care what he has to say about this, but the fact of the matter that he's jumping at the emulator instead of the actual system when I was referring to the actual system and not the emulator for most of the problems. The controller of the Atari for the real 2600, not the emulator plug-and-play that I was showing in the video, isn't very good. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's definitely better than the one in the video. It's fun, it's not, perfect, but it's better than the one in the video, that's all I had to say. As for the NES controller, we all know it hurts your hands, but it is a decent controller, and it was very inventive for the time. Anyway, I still prefer the Super Nintendo controller, mostly because there's more buttons and it's more comfortable, and the fact that I was born around that time. So there you go, there's that. But saying that they're the only true video game system and calling me a pommy fag is kind of a, I don't know how to say it, just kind of a retarded statement. So, I mean, saying that those are the only true video game systems, how can you call those true video game systems? What's so different about today? I don't understand this. Just because we have better graphics and more capabilities and better hardware doesn't make the systems any less of a video game system. I mean, come on. And if anything, they make it more like a video game because it's an interactive experience that represents video representations of a game. You know, just like a board game, but this is more interactive with the newer stuff that we have. You know, the other stuff was interactive too, but now we can actually see what we're doing. I'm going to carry on before I go on my little rant with this because I don't want the video to be over 10 minutes. And then he goes, fair enough if you don't like the Atari, but you got no right to hang shit on it. Shit on it. There, fuck. I don't understand the periods. The two periods that's fucking throwing me off. But you have no right to shit on it, basically, he says. All you want to be gamers of the modern age, with your Wii and PlayStation and Xbox pussy shit. A video game system is exactly that. Not a playing a game like watching a movie in the cinema. Fuck, man. Okay, so apparently this guy decided that, you know, having high graphics and cinematics and fun gameplay is just not what a game is about. Basically, he wants bleeps and blobs. He wants nothing more than, you know, fucking shit that you can't even tell what's going on. Now, let me say this. The Atari and the NES had shit graphics, okay? They did. Plain out and simple, shit graphics. No one wants to go back to that day and age with graphics, at least, or hardware capability. Would you really be able to feel comfortable paying the same price back then, would you really feel comfortable paying the price you would have back then for those systems now, even though we have the high-powered, you know, great consoles that we have? I'm not a big Xbox gamer, but I do love the controller, and I do respect the system because there's a lot of good games for it. And in my collection I have probably 80. I know it's pretty hard to believe that I don't play them very much, but I do have about 80. And as for the Wii, that's something I just got into this year, mind you. You know, 2012. You know, Christmas Day, that was it. 2012. I waited for the system for years, you know, so it's a new experience for me, and I really like the system. I mean, what can I say? I love the idea of getting a little exercise or a little, you know, interactiveness, a little interactive game, you know. Basically, I like going to the gym and stuff too, and I like working out at home and stuff like that. And sometimes I like to cool down or play, you know, like Wii Sports Resort and something, and put, you know, more effort into everything to get a little exercise, you know, the fun way. Even though I'm already extremely tired, it's just a good way to keep limber and a good way just to have a little fun. In a way, it's just like an exercise bike but for your arms, and in a way, it's just fun, you know. It's pretty good if you know what you're doing and you play it the way I do. It does give you a little cardio, from all the movement and all that stuff from different games you play. I know it sounds a little funny. I'm trying to make this sound a little less lame, but you'd have to see what I mean. Maybe I'll make a video on that one day. I have no idea. It's a little embarrassing for this channel, though. Games and exercise don't go together very well, so maybe for a different channel, we'll see. And then he says PlayStation. Personally, I've never really played PlayStation 3. I have, but I don't like it. There's a few games on it that I really like, and I like the graphic style of the system, but I don't care for the system's controller. I hate the system's controller. I like the PS2 controller, but I hate the PlayStation 3 controller. And most of you are going, why? It's the same damn thing. And no, it's not. You know why it's not? The damn triggers are different in the back, and I hate it. That little, I don't know how to explain it, little trigger they give you is just piece of shit. So, before you start jumping on me about all this stuff, whatever your fucking name is, Morphe Lalu, whatever the fuck I can't pronounce, I'm going to call you Mefe. I don't fucking know. So anyhow, before you start picking on someone like me, knowing that I barely played the PlayStation in my life, well, the original PlayStation, I had 3 of them because they kept fucking breaking back in the day. That's how great Sony is of a company. Not to mention the TV in my room right now is a Sony TV I got for $500. I didn't expect very much of it, but I thought, you know, for $500, this is a pretty good deal. You know, a Sony TV, a big one. Doesn't have any contrast control, doesn't have a lot of things, and it's delayed when it comes to playing certain games, so the FPS is very low. frames per second for those who don't know. So that being said, fuck Sony, fuck you, $500, very stupid, because I didn't use it right away for games, because I was mostly a PC gamer at the time. I was playing old PS2 games, and that was about it. And they really look horrible on this TV, so it's really, fucked up, because when I'm trying to play a Resident Evil game with my wife, it's just not very fun. Let's see what else he says. Not playing a video game, watching a movie in the whatever the fuck, he doesn't want you to watch a movie, he wants to play the game. I understand, I really do. I understand what he's probably saying, but it still sounds very stupid. The fact of the matter is, video is in the goddamn name, video game, you know what I mean? It's in there. So for games to make, for these companies to make games that have a lot of video footage in it and have a lot of interactive videos or even just, cutscenes, it's expected. It's a video game. If the graphics are able to do it, why not do it? Back in the day, let me give you a little history lesson here. Back in the day, all these companies wanted to do stuff that they're doing now. I mean, they didn't have as high expectations as they do now for the games, but they had something in mind where they wanted to do something like a movie and give you the idea of the scene of the game and then have you play it. But back then, the graphics hardware and all that stuff was just not capable of doing it. And something kept coming along and basically raising the hardware. As the games demanded more, the hardware got better. And it's basically the game industry that made, PCs what they are today. Without games and stuff like movies and games and all that, there wouldn't be the, computers we have today, at least not as soon as they are, because the high demand for, graphic advancement and, processing advancement and stuff like that, and just overall hardware advancement, is so crucial to the game and, video industry. I mean, they need it. They thrive off of it because their product gets better when the advancement of hardware gets better. And we're going through this again with a new generation of games, a new generation of game systems. So, that being said, how can you say that it's wrong to have more cinematics in a game when that's what they intended in the first place? Atari and the NES, all the people that made those systems and all those games, those companies are still around today. Most of all of those companies are still around today. Not, the smaller ones probably died away, but some of those have come under different names, have been into different companies, and a lot of them are either making Wii games or they're making Xbox games. Some of them are making games for PlayStation. I mean, think about it, Capcom, all those companies, some of those went to different names. Sega was around back then too. There's a lot of different things going on at the time. So, I mean, it's really hard to say, that I have all the knowledge of everything here, because I don't. But I do know for a fact that back in the day that they wanted these games to be as good as possible and to tell a story. But with bleeps and blobs, they were they were very unable to do that. Text on the screen was hard to do, and bleeps and blobs were hard to do as well. And they only had so many colors to work with. So, think of it that way. How can you say something that only had limited colors, limited sound effects, limited text, limited room, and limited, capability overall is better than something that has nearly endless possibilities? Even though, these systems can only do so much, and the CD-ROMs and DVDs, or what do you call them, not CD-ROMs, the DVD-ROMs and the Blu-rays and all that can only hold so much, then they have limitation. But think about your PC games. They really don't have limitation. They have limitation to the hardware, as in, if you have a good PC and the game, requires all that, you have enough to, usually run the game. But, people with lower systems don't, but that's not the point. The point of the matter is the people that actually have the machines that can run the game, well, and run the game at its system requirements or better, there's basically an endless possibility. If a PC game, if they were to make a PC game that was, probably like 40 gigabytes, they could, and people would buy it. Sure, it would be very hard to distribute, in any way or shape or form, and if you downloaded it, it would take quite a long time, but it's very possible. And we're getting to that time where that is actually a really close possibility, for the near future. So, I think I went off on enough ranting here, but the overall point of this whole video was basically to say, don't just jump on someone like myself who, plays newer games but doesn't care for the older ones as much. It's all about when you're born, for one. It's all about what you're into and all that stuff. But The thing is, I've been into games my entire life. I have pictures of me playing games since I was 1 year old. Come on. You're going to tell me that you were more of a gamer than me because of what? Because you were born before me? Fuck you. And I don't even know how old you are. How do I know that you're not like some 10-year-old that just, decided to watch G4 or something, or seen something that they said Atari and NES are the only real games, like the fucking faggot you are? You know what I mean? How do I know? Do I know you? No, I do not. Do you know me? No, you do not. You don't know how old I am. You don't know how young I am. You don't know nothing. I know I said nothing, but fuck you. I don't care. Fuck you, you stupid bastard. That's all I have to say. Wow. It's just a really stupid video right here. This is a very pointless video. I don't like making a rant video about something as stupid as this. I leave that for the retards like the Archfiend, talking about comments that they get that are bad. But this is something stupid. This is something that I just can't get over, because it's not just one person who thinks like this. There is a lot of people who think like this. And I'm honestly, I have some similarity to this guy. I do have something in common with him. I honestly don't like the new gamers, like the kids gamers, or the, adults that finally started playing games like my grandfather, because they played a shooting game and they liked it, That does not make them a gamer. I do want to make a video talking about what a gamer actually is, and what a gamer is not, and who is a gamer and who is not, how to tell if someone is or isn't, and, so on and so on. Right now, I do want to say, yes, I am a gamer. I can prove that I'm a gamer. Believe me, I have more games than 90% of you on here do. And I keep all my games in perfect condition. I play them. I respect them for what they were made. I do as much as possible to respect the developers, the company that made the games, the publishers, all that stuff. I do a lot to commemorate and, respect what they've done. And say, I can't do this. I don't have any intentions of ever making a game that, advanced, because I just don't see how like that would take forever. Even with a team, that's just something that's hard to replicate. A game like Resident Evil Outbreak, or Mario Galaxy 2, or Mario N64, even the DS version of it, which was even better in my opinion. Stuff like that. Those games were just so great for their time, and there was nothing like that at the time. So that's what really, makes me say, okay, these are games that, really dignify and show off what the graphics have been doing, and what developers have learned, and all the things that they're thinking of cinematic-wise, too. Yeah, really stupid. Really, really stupid. I don't know. I don't care what kind of gamer you are, if you're a Xbox or Wii, PlayStation, PC gamer, to say that that games were better on an older console that just didn't do very much, such as the Atari and NES. Those are systems that had graphic limitations that were so bad. Come on. Sure, they were little fun games, but we have games like that now on the iPod, the iPhone, stuff like that. You know what I mean? We have a lot of things that can do the same thing now. And to, it's fine to like one thing like that that's older like that, but to actually start, hating something new because it's more powerful and more cinematic and more advanced than, the old system or the old thing or whatever, is just really stupid. And that makes this guy look like a fucking jackass. And I know I said some things in here that may be a little controversial, so I've hoped you've watched the whole video, because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. I know 20 minutes is a long video, but sorry about it, but, fuck, you have to watch it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. Just a little rant here for you all. Alright, everyone, so goodbye. Cheers.